welcome to New Beginnings Church, to Friday Night Faith Fight. I'm glad you're watching. I ask that you share this video, that you comment, like. I even ask if I make you mad that you hit that mad face button and put it on there. I've been told I don't make announcements enough, and it's true. We have a YouTube channel, and they put this on my stage so I will remember. Go subscribe. Some way or another that helps us financially. The more subscriptions we get, the better that channel does. But comment, like, share that post, and remember, all this month, my CDs are at the special price of a hug. If you see me out, my requirement is that you give me a hug. Comment below and tell me you're interested, and at the end of the month, I'm going to send everybody out free CDs. Turn in your Bibles to Hebrews, the 11th chapter. We're going to get back into the series on what faith will do. Starting in verse 1, we have ministered the first 4 verses, but I'm going to read them again because it's been a couple of weeks since we've been on it. But in verse 1, it says, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. For by it the elders obtained a good report. Through faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of God, so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. By faith Abel offered unto God a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, by the which he obtained a witness that he was righteous, God testifying of his gifts. By it he being dead yet speaketh." And now we're going to get tonight's message. Look at your neighbor and say, "Refuse to die." Refuse to die. Look at your other neighbor and say, "It's time for you to refuse to die." It's time for you to refuse to die. See, the Bible teaches, and we think a lot of times that people and things and circumstances are our enemy. But if you are a student of the Word, you will find out that death is the enemy to the church. Every fear you have, every self-doubt you have, everything you go through, if you trace it back, you can trace it back to the fear of death. See, when God created this planet, He created it and set it up like a family, and His intention was to go down to the garden at the cool of the day and walk with man. His intention has not changed. He intends on walking with you. Verse 5, "By faith Enoch was translated that he should not see death, and was not found, because God had translated him. For before his translation, he had this testimony that he pleased God." In the next verse, "But without faith it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to God must believe, first that he is, and second that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him." And then I'm also going to minister on the next verse. "By faith Noah, being warned of God of things not seen as yet, moved with fear, prepared an ark to the saving of his house, by the which he condemned the world, and became heir of righteousness which is by faith." Back to verse 5. "By faith Enoch translated that he should not see death." Enoch's very, very difficult to preach about. Ain't much said about it.
No.
You find in the book of Jude that Enoch prophesied that Christ is coming back with 10,000 of his saints, but it's hard to find where he prophesied that. And then this, by faith he was translated. I've heard it preached because it's talking about Enoch walked with God. Don't say a whole lot more than that. What's that mean, Brother Todd? Well, the first thing that was outstanding to me is we know Enoch did not die, but the thing that really came to life to me is it says that by faith he was translated. That means redneck bad. This Elizabethan English. I love the King James Bible. I don't trust a lot of the others. I found out some I study out of have left out 70 or 80 verses. New International. I study it. I got them in there. But it was shocking. Why would somebody translate the Bible and leave out verses? The reason I like the King James so much is it don't leave anything out. But to a bunch of rednecks, it's confusing. Mm-hmm. I've always said this. I never went to Lynn's house and went, Lynn, would thou likest to go unto yonder river and we mightest take a fishing trip?
Right. Yeah.
The moment I do that, Lynn's going to turn around and say, Mom, come out here. There's something wrong with Todd.
Yeah.
And it says Enoch was translated. That's hard to understand. By faith, he was translated that he should not see death. To redneck that, Enoch walked with God, and by faith the whole journey with his father, Enoch was refusing to die. God didn't make a decision that Enoch's not going to die. Enoch, by faith, it says, was translated. Everywhere he went, he was saying, confessing, and believing, I will not die. Now, why is it as believers we don't want to die? Because we're going to wake up and be with Jesus, but I've been there and I can tell you, this week's been special to me. At 74 years old, my dad was given a report no one wants to give. Preachers were telling me then, God's promised him 70 and so many years. He's lived out his life. You as a family, you're going to have to sit down and accept he's lived as long as God promised him. Come on, how many of you ever heard that?
Yeah.
God give you 70 some years.
Yeah.
And I was the Pentecostal healing preacher. Bring yours up. It won't disturb me. I don't get rattled. Turn your Wi-Fi on under it in case. Or will that stop it right then if you... I don't know. Because it goes in and out like Wi-Fi.
Thank you, Doc.
See, it's good to not let stuff rattle. But he's 74. For insurance, I had to print his medical records off. He was on his 65th stomach procedure. And this was a bad. They were cutting him from the split in his rib cage to his pubic area, opening him up and taking out organs and washing them. Pulling them out of his body, cleaning them, putting them back. And the report was, he's not going to make it. The report from the ministry was, he's lived a long life. This is what God promised him. You all as a family need to start accepting he's not going to be here anymore. Whose report will you believe?
Amen. That's right. Amen.
Well, I was the Pentecostal healing ministry. So I was in his face telling him, the Bible tells you, Dad, that by Jesus' stripes you are healed. And I was, he's healed, he's healed, he's healed. Everybody coming, I'm rebuking the preachers, and healing ain't coming. They're going to do this procedure. They're going to take out all of his stomach and take other things and make him a stomach the size of an egg. Oh, come on. Healing ministries go through things too.
Yeah.
One day, they're giving him tons of morphine. He don't like it. He tells me I'm seeing Grandpa Jones and Minnie Pearl every time you push that button. Quit giving me that stuff. I found out this week from his sister that that's what they used to listen to on the radio every night before they went to sleep. And while praying about him, God said, have you ever asked your dad what he could believe? And I really want you to get that point tonight when you're trying to help somebody and you're trying to minister to them. Are you trying to cram your faith down their throat? I was. Come on. We're bad for that. So somebody, yeah, God wants you to have more than enough. And they just got their light shut off.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
You're healed, Dad. Jesus said you're healed. I never one time lied to him, but I was attempting to take my faith and cause him to use my faith. And in the middle of the night, God said to me, have you ever asked your dad what he could believe? That's important, church. If you're helping somebody, waiting on somebody, taking care of somebody, helping somebody financially, helping somebody with sickness, I want you to slow down and find out, what can they believe?
Amen. It's good.
Because it's kind of obvious it don't work the same way for everybody. Somewhere today there is some lady rejoicing that God has given her a brand new car, and 2 seats behind her there's another lady that had to get a ride to church because they just hauled hers off.
Yeah.
Come on, we don't preach this stuff enough. Are you going to tell me the one that got the new car loved God more than the lady whose car just got hauled off? God's love for us is something we can't understand. It goes so high that we can't reach over it, so low we can't get under it, and it's so wide we can't get around it.
That's right.
See, we learn to love by everybody in this room has loved somebody at first. Now, I don't just mean in a boy-girl relationship. You've loved somebody at first, but as you got to know them, you fell out of love with them. You started to see this, and it made you uncomfortable, and you didn't like it. God's love's the opposite. He will see me tomorrow morning when I ain't brushed my teeth and my breath will knock you down and my hair's turned every way, and you pretty ladies, you ain't touched a curling iron, you ain't put on no foundation, you ain't did anything yet, and God is as crazy over you at that moment as He was when you was all dutied up.
Yeah, that's right.
It's hard to understand that, though.
Yeah.
To explain that is, we fell in love with people till we got to know them. God fell in love with you and already knew everything about you. That's powerful, Joy.
Amen. That is.
Enoch's walk with God, it's hard to preach on it because it's basically all it tells you, but in saying little things, sometimes the word says a lot. We walk by faith and not by sight. And it says that by faith, he absolutely refused to die. He chose it. Now, Churchill saw every one of us. We've had people die. It was godly. And every one of us can say it about somebody. I don't know nobody that was closer to the Lord than him or her, but they died.
Yeah.
Come on. It's stuff we need to. You can't minister to somebody. Well, I asked Dad, what can you believe? I've been trying to force this healing on you. Whatever you tell me you can believe, I'm going to take my faith and apply it to what you can believe. That's all we should do in ministry, church. Quit trying to force what you know about God on somebody else and find out what they are hoping He will do and believing He will do and help get them there. We all know a better path and a better decision, but when I ask him, what can you believe? Loud, plain, and boldly, he said, I'm 74-year-old. I'm going to overcome this better than any 74-year-old they ever seen. He said, I believe that, and I am not going to die till I've lived past my 90s. Amen. I'm not saying not much. How many people lives to be 90?
That's right.
And this week I celebrated his 90th birthday all week long because as a word of faith preacher, I humbled myself and figured out, my dad, he told me, I can't believe that I'll jump up from here instantly healed. But he basically told me, in this situation, I'm going to refuse to die.
Amen. Amen, that's right.
Come on. That's what Enoch did. He walked with God and refused to die by faith. How did he refuse to die, Brother Todd? I don't know. It don't tell us. But whatever he did it by faith, and I understand enough about faith. He had to be saying, I'm going to live and not die. I'm not going to taste death. It says that. We think healing's spectacular, but sometimes not dying is even bigger. If you've never been around somebody that's dying, you don't really understand. But unless it's a car accident or something instant, death can be awful slow and awful cruel.
Yeah. Yes.
How many of you are going to refuse to die until you're ready? Come on.
Amen.
He refused it, and then I went on and I read you about Noah. And I never saw this. I preached a lot about Noah, and you've heard some of the things I'm going to say, but I figured out Noah, when the whole world was orchestrated and planned by God, that every living thing on this planet is going to die. I'm tired of the sin on the earth, the unbelief on the earth. I'm going to kill it all and start over. And Noah was warned of God, and what he did was he refused to die, but he also refused to let his family die.
Amen.
Come on, that's another level.
Yeah. Yeah, he did.
By faith, Noah, being warned of God of things not yet seen, moved with fear. We don't do that. We move in fear. He knew destruction's coming, rain's coming, and for 120 years he was out there declaring that the whole world's going to die, everything's going to perish, it's going to flood.
Yeah.
Faith people will talk about things in a loud and bold way that other people don't understand. Quit trying to get people to figure you out. He's telling them it's going to flood. I'm building a boat. They don't know what a flood is or a boat.
Yeah.
Come on. A lot of times your vision, if it is a vision from God, if you can do it tomorrow, it ain't God.
Yeah.
Everything He tells you to do is impossible. He thinks bigger than we do, looks further than we do. He has more say. He has never one time looked at my checking account to figure out, can I give what He tells me to give and go where He tells me to go? I'm going to Tennessee to minister, and He's dealing with me to go, and they've asked me to come. I don't have 15 cents, and I'm telling Him, God, I don't have the gas to go. He's saying, I want you to preach over there tonight. It never motivated Him one time what I had on my debit card or in my wallet. I go to Isom, to the gas station, get the lady to turn the pump on, and I start pumping gas. I don't have any money. I pump the gas, go to the bathroom, come out. There's two of my ministry partners out there saying, oh, I'm glad we saw you. We got $400 to give you, and we was going to wait till next week. And I'm like, yeah! It's the only time I ignore my the only one outranks her. But I had to go. He don't look at things. Noah's building that boat, and how many of you got neighbors or family that you might call, say, that crazy cat lady?
Crazy cat, that you?
Yeah, you drive where me and lives right now, and there's a woman I love very dearly, but if you look, every windowsill of her yard has 15 cats on it. Her porch has 35 on the front of it. Every tree, and there is 400 cats in her yard.
Oh my goodness.
What did it look like with Noah? He's bringing 2 of every kind of animal in at least, and he's bringing more in of the clean animals for them to eat. Noah was way beyond the crazy cat lady. He was that old man that's talking about a flood. And have you seen? He's got monkeys in his yard.
Yeah.
You never look at it. What did it look like?
Yeah.
They was animals that wasn't natural to his community. And maybe they didn't have elephants where he lived. But his neighbors look around and he's walking with 2 big elephants in the yard.
Yeah.
And they're that big and he's putting them on a boat. Things that God tells you to do don't make no sense in the natural. If we're ever going to get to the place to where we can stand and refuse death and stop it in our family's life, we have to be a people that's not afraid of persecution and willing to do the craziest stuff.
Yeah.
Can't you hear them talking? I mean, we complain if one dog poops in a yard.
Yeah.
All them animals coming there tore up trenches. I had cows from a neighbor get in my yard one time. They was holes that deep in my grass.
Yeah.
See, I'm at a disadvantage anymore. Every story I tell, Lynn knows who I'm talking about. I can't be discreet about nothing. Their cows got in my yard. I helped them move the cows out. It was when I was divorced, broke, believing God to eat. Cows got in my yard a second time. I mean, toward it. You couldn't mow the grass. You was going down in holes and back out. I told him, cows down here again. I said, next time you do it, I'm just going to tell you where I'm at. I'm broke, I'm hungry, I'm believing God for food. I'm a meat cutter by trade. I said, next time I get in my yard, I'm eating cattle all winter. That next evening I come home and there's cows all in my yard, and I called two of my meat cut buddies and I said, boys, get your knives and come over. We're about to cut up some cows. It wasn't a bunch of cattle, every animal. Now for you animal lovers, wonders if God cares about them. He planned to save them on the boat too.
Yeah, he did.
But what that look like? Crazy old man preaching. It says he preached righteousness. He's yelling at us and preaching righteousness, and everywhere you look, every day there's some kind of new creature in his yard. And have you seen that big awful thing he's building in the yard? I used to could see that mountain over there across the road, but now that big thing Noah's building's blocking my view.
Yeah.
Don't that sound like how we live at home?
Yeah.
But Noah, it says, was warned of God and did not move in fear. He wasn't walking around shaking, afraid of what's going to happen. He moved with fear. We'd never do that. You get one letter in the mail that says you're behind on a bill, and you'll find out what being in fear and with fear is. You ain't with fear, you're in it. Church people are the worst. They'll even quit answering the phone when a creditor calls. They'll tell the kids, answer that and tell them I ain't here. We don't believe in lying, but it's okay if Visa or MasterCard calls to let your young'uns lie for you. Come on, and they're watching you. You are teaching and training them that money is an unobtainable goal, that wealth and riches, that you can't have it, and that for people that you owe it to, you need to lie to them and run from them. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Man that moves with fear, I've been there. I owed $85,000 one time I could not pay. They'd call, I answered. Can you pay us $600 today? No, sir, I can't today, but I believe that my God supplies all of my needs. Well, can you pay us $3? No, sir, I cannot pay you $3, but I firmly believe that my God will supply my needs. And at the end of that journey, instead of calling and asking for Todd in the meat room, they called and asked for Brother Swaggart. Yeah. I said, why are you calling me Swaggart? And they said, because you're another one of them lying preachers out to get everybody's money and don't pay his bills. Come on. Ooh, that cut.
Yeah.
But I'm really in faith. I'm there. I know God's going to move. I don't know what. I don't know how. They're going to sell my house at the Hyman Courthouse that next morning. That next morning, I get my aunt and I tell her to get ready, and she calls me back, and I don't tell her what we're going for. I just wanted to cut me. I didn't want to be alone. I'm saved. I'm out of debt. My needs are met. I've got plenty more to put in store. Out of debt, my needs are met. I've got plenty more to put in store.
Amen.
And she calls and says, are you still trying to sell that house? I said, yes. She said, well, you need to come up here now. There's some crazy coal company fella wanting to talk to you bad. Now at noon, they're going to sell my house. It's 11:30. I go to the guy, and my aunt wants to live in my house, and the coal company guy has decided that he's willing to pay enough for that house to pay a bill she has. And I should have asked $1 million. He asked me, what do you want for that house? I had whittled that 80-some thousand down to where I owed 35. But it was impossible. I said, I got to have $35,000 for that house if we're going to let her live in it. He wrote me a check for 17 right there and said, go get the deed and I'll give you the rest. Come on. You ain't shouting much, but how many of you has God got you $17,000 moments before destruction? I go to the bank and it gets funny. Some of you's heard this, but everybody ain't. My aunt's rough. And she's probably watching this. I've watched her whoop 2 full-grown men. Yeah, and she started it. They didn't.
She started it.
Yeah. Violent woman. I'm glad she was. But
What's her name? I can see what's her name.
we go into that bank that day and I take my $17,000 check in there and I tell them I want to make a payment. And they, oh, Brother Swaggart. And my aunt hears it and she's like looking around and they come out and they say, Brother Swaggart, we're not taking it. And she's like, what you call him? And that guy had the nerve to tell her he's one of them Pentecostal preachers that tries to take everybody's money and don't pay his bill, just like Brother Swaggart. And I'm not saying Brother Swaggart's that way. That's just what they said about me. Well, it's chaos. She lets them know real quick. He can't cuss you out and he won't say nothing to you. But sir, are you calling him Jimmy Swaggart? You blankety blank, 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 and just rounding through the bank. Blank every one of you, turning to the customers. Blank you and blank you. God will fight you battles sometimes. I finally get everything to where somebody in that bank will listen to me, and I said, well, I don't know who your boss is, but go tell them you just turned down $17,000, and I was going to have the rest of it in about 10 minutes, but I'll do something else with this money. And I started out the door, and my aunt's still in there, blank you, blank you. Well, they went from the attitude of wanting her put in jail and seizing my house to they heard $17,000 in his pocket to, oh, ma'am, you can cuss us anytime you want to. I'm sorry you're having a bad day. Let's go out here and get your sweet little nephew. Now, does that old saying apply that God may not come when you want him, but he's on time? No. Thursday, 2 months from now. Come on. That cuts a lot of religion. They think God gets it to you on his time. Tell me anywhere in the scripture, anybody that walked up to Jesus or a disciple and said, Lord, I need healing. And Jesus said, well, I'm going to get that to you, but you're going to have to wait.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I can see Paul and Peter going through there. Oh, yes, we will raise you up and heal you. But I'm sorry, ma'am. In about 2 months, you're going to get victory.
Yeah.
That's how we portray God. I'm waiting on Jesus. Jesus will come through in his time. No, when you are walking with him and you walk by faith and not by sight, when you are in faith, God moves right then at that moment, at that time.
Amen. That's right. Good.
Noah moved with fear. Build an ark to the saving of his household. Enoch walked with God and refused to die, but Noah went around preaching righteousness, gathering up animals, and building a boat, and declaring that as for me and my house, my bunch is not going to die.
Amen.
And it cuts, I know this message cuts me. It cuts every one of us as lost people. And we can't go back and change that. But we can develop an attitude now that any time the enemy comes in, I am not going to let them die. Amen. Oh, Brother Todd, you can't do that. Is your dad 90 years old? Come on. From then on, every week, me and Dad was saying, you're going to live past 90. I'm going to live past 90. Every time we talked. And this week, I ate birthday cake with a big 9-0 on the birthday cake. Refuse to lose. If your marriage is dying, refuse to let it die. If your finances is dying, refuse. If you have children, your marriage and your finances shouldn't even matter. You should be focused on them kids. My kids will live and not die. I don't care how many pills they snort, how much beer they drink, how many bad women they're with, they messed up. They was born in my house, and I'm building a boat.
Amen.
Amen. Good. That's good.
See, church, really the only time any of us loses at anything is when we give up.
Yeah.
Come on, as long as you're walking with God and fighting, it's impossible for you to lose. But the moment you give up, cave in and quit, dying's easy. All of us can do it tonight. You don't believe me? Go out there and jump in front of a tractor trailer. Come on.
Yeah.
You can die. Or go get Lynn's 12 gauge. Pull the trigger. Living's what's hard. And it's tough. Now I'm telling that about Dad, but was it all moments of ease and splendor? No. There's been plenty of moments of cleaning poop off the walls and out of the carpet and picking each other up out of the floor. There's been a lot of pain pills took. There's been a lot of tears shed. But we would clean the poop, take the pain pills, and shed the tears, saying, he's going to live past 90.
Yes. Amen. Yeah.
I know what it's like to hear the doctors tell everybody I'm dead. Everybody. Nothing we can do. They would even say things like, that machine is doing his breathing now. If we take that off, he's not going to breathe on his own. I was hearing those reports, and I heard the silly preacher saying, Lord, if you take Brother Todd home, take him slow and easy. Come on, that's how we pray.
Yeah.
I'm laying there going, he's an idiot. God, don't listen to him. I absolutely believe you, Lord, that I'm not waiting on healing. I'm not seeking to be healed. I absolutely believe by his stripes I'm already healed.
Amen. 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 Yeah.
Over and over and over. You're going to die. You're not going to walk. You ain't going to be able to shave. I had a beard worse than Lynn's winter beard. Lynn grows a beard every winter. Man, like it had supernatural growth. I look like Santa Claus laying there in that bed. I got brain damage. I can't shave. You ain't going to stand in a boat. You're not going to eat normal food. Life is going to be different. They brought me brochures to take hand controls and put on my vehicle. They would say, son, can't you see this leg is black? It's poison. And my answer was, beautiful are the feet of them that preach the gospel. I will take that leg. It's like Hind's feet, Doc. Don't be moved by what you see. I run through troops and I leap over walls.
Amen. That's right.
My guys in the meat room pulled the thing back off my leg and it smelled so bad they almost got sick. But I was convinced. I wasn't thinking, oh, I'm sad this coming. I'm thinking, this is my story of healing that I am going to declare to the whole earth that there's still a God in Israel and the prayer of faith still saves the sick.
Amen. Amen.
Well, What comes in your mind when you face bad things? I really was thinking. I knew it! There was one verse that tells you if you honored your mommy and daddy. I knew I'd done that. I'd used my faith to do it. I had used my faith to behave to my... I knew anything my mom wanted, I have never told her no. Any place they wanted to go, I've took them and I told them all day long how precious they was, how important they was. And I'm laying there with a dead body. My kidneys don't work, my eyes don't work, my legs rotten. I've got infection, my body's swelled, my fingers are this big around. I'm septic, but I knew I qualified. I honored them. And I know I live in an age, some of you out there, your mom and dad is trash. I understand that. Don't honor them for the trash that they've been, but the only thing you can give them honor over, they taught you a sorrowful, messed up life, but honor that God chose them to birth you. And be honest, say it, Lord, you chose them. I know they ain't done nothing else right. They never made a right decision, but you chose them. There was so much power in that. I'm laying there with everything dead, and I'm not sad, discouraged. I'm excited. I'm going to tell the world about this. And 5 years later, tonight, I am standing here, given 4 hours to live, telling the world that the prayer of faith still saves the sick, and the Lord will raise him up if he's committed sin.
Amen.
I continue. Lord, you know I've done that. I don't want mom and dad burying me. It's never right when a parent buries a child. Supposed to be the other way around. And I pray crazy stuff. This is the words I uttered. In 2 seconds, I'm in a coma. I said, I give her my wallet, and I give her this same big black Bible. I said, you're going to need that medical card. I'm under attack. I don't know what it is, but I know Satan's trying to kill me. I said, but know this. I absolutely believe I'm already healed. And Mom said, but what if you die? I said, get up at the funeral home and apologize to everybody I lied to about him. And I said, and take that book out in the yard and set fire to it. The whole thing's a lie. Oh, come on.
Amen.
That makes church people nervous. I wasn't thinking, oh, maybe she'll have to pop. No. I knew the boldest thing I could say is, I believe I'm healed, and if you think it ain't going to happen, you apologize, but healing works. It works every time you are in faith. God did not choose for sickness and disease to take any of us out. He wants every one of us to be like Enoch and walk with God and decide, today I'm going to heaven.
Amen. Yes. Amen.
I saw it. I've got the cassette tape. How many of you ever heard the song, Ain't No Grave Gonna Hold My Body Down? Brother Claude Ely wrote that. He's a bibbed overhaul wearing big holiness mess. Went around everywhere he went. I'm not going to heaven until I'm full and satisfied. look at the crowd and say, I ain't too satisfied with you. And next night, it's somewhere in his service. I'm not going to heaven until I'm full and satisfied. I ain't too satisfied. Are you? On that cassette, Claude gets to the piano and sings. And says, church, tonight, I want you to know, Brother Claude is finally, for the first time in his ministry, feeling awful full. And he said, I'm mighty satisfied. And then clunk. Went on to heaven. My friend Clyde did the same thing. Looked at me and told me, I've finished my course. I've kept the faith. And this makes some of you mad, but I don't care. But he also told me, reach your generation the way you are. He said, don't try to be me and Ruth. I would say, well, Clyde, how do I pray? And the doctors were telling him then that he's absolutely ate up with cancer. And Clyde said, I don't care. He said, I'm done. I did what I was called to do. And Ruth would speak up and say, he ain't a dying with cancer. What do you believe? Who do you agree with? Well, I know Ruth well enough that if she's praying, if you want to win, you better agree with her. And I said, well, Clyde, this is tough. Sister Ruth believes cancer ain't going to take you out. How do you believe you're going to die? And he said, they're going to find me in there on the floor asleep and can't wake me up. He loves sleeping on the floor. He went down, ordered his own casket, picked out his own tombstone, paid for, put a new roof on Ruth's trailer, new siding, paid for that. He went in and took sticky notes. He had a nice gun collection. And he'd write on a sticky note, this belongs to Judah. And he put it on that gun. This is Jada's, this is Kim's, this is... Wrote me out his obituary and said, I don't have that internet stuff, you know how strict I've been, but he had his daughter send me handwritten notes for me to put his obituary on the internet before he passes away. And Ruth saying he's not going to die with cancer. He checked his own self out of the hospital to go home because he wanted to eat Reese cups with his grandkids. There's calls in the middle of the day. People panicking. They found Clyde on the floor. I would say, where? Found him in there on the floor asleep and can't wake him up. Took him to Jackson Hospital. They're taking Ruth there, and cancer doctors don't know that that's happened, that Clyde's there. And they see Ruth, and hey, Miss Kilburn, we need to talk to you. And she said, you got my report over no cancer? And they said, yes, ma'am, it's ulcers. He don't have a bit of cancer. And Ruth turns around and says, well, if he wants to die now, I'll let him. Come on. Yeah. That's how we should. Enoch did that. He walked with God and refused to die. Why are you going broke? Yeah. Refuse to go broke. Refuse to lose.
Amen. Amen.
Well, the Jackson Hospital said he had a widowmaker's massive heart attack. His heart's exploded. Put him on a helicopter. Get him in a helicopter. They can't find nothing wrong with his heart. It just exploded. But they said this, we don't know why. We can't wake him up. They get him to UK hospital, and UK is very confused at the reports from the Jackson Hospital saying his heart has exploded. It's not exploded. We've got him on life support, but ain't nothing wrong with him. But we can't wake him up.
Yeah.
They finally get Ruth down to Lexington. She's got her, there ain't no cancer papers in her arm, and she's walking in there boldly. They got him on life support. What do you want us to do? She said, well, I've been believing that cancer wouldn't kill him, and it ain't. If you want to go on, Clyde, go ahead and die. He took the machines off, and he went ahead and died. This is the people I follow.
Yes.
Ruth was the type she needed breakfast. Didn't have no food. Churches are pitiful. Not ours, but I've been on the road. They will let you drive 7.5 hours
Yeah.
and give you 2 cans of corn and a can of beans. Come on, there's a lot of preachers out there struggling how they're going to get home after church.
Yeah.
It don't not be that way. If we call them and invite them,
Yeah,
I
right.
want that night at least, they finally can afford to eat whatever they want on that menu.
That's right. That's right.
They're not going to put a quarter of a tank of gas
No.
in. When they leave us, they're going to fill the tank up.
Amen. Amen.
Ruth and them was evangelizing and traveling, and the offerings was pitiful. And let me tell you, ministers, a key: don't trust offerings. Believe God.
Yeah.
Tell God what you want, and don't depend on that church to give it to you. And I've lived it. I remember one time, me and Joe, I believed for $700, and I was learning faith. I got $699 in the offering. Joe said, well, you got it. I said, no, I did not. That's $1 short. That ain't my offering. That's seed. I said, let's go to Walmart. We're going to give this $699 away. I believe for $700. And as I'm stopping to give that $699 away to a lady, this man comes up to me. Oh, you preached in my home church tonight. I couldn't be there. And I was so worried I can't give you an offering. He said, here. And he writes me out a check for $700. And see, some lady really got blessed grocery shopping that day with $699. How adamant are you about what you believe? Will you let $1? $1, that's what I believe. No, it ain't. You believe for $700,
Yeah.
don't accept $699.
Amen.
Now it's telling everybody there's a flood coming, and the flood comes. And some of you heard some of this. This is my patented Noah sermon, but it's good. And if you keep coming here, you're going to hear it 50 more times in your life.
Amen.
The flood comes, and what we do not, we think that the message of faith stops bad things from happening on the planet. It don't.
No.
The floods, I came to tell you, storms are going to come. Floods are going to come. But if you move with fear and in faith, you will survive every flood and every storm with everybody around you falling dead.
That's right.
Storms and flood comes. They've got 2 of every animal on there. More of the clean animals. They're in a boat that is sealed so tight that the mighty Jehovah God shut the door.
Amen.
Noah didn't crank it in. They didn't seal it down. God shut that door. They're still tied in that boat. Storms is rocking the boat. There's monkeys. There's giraffes. There's hippopotamuses. Elephants. Mountain lions, cheetahs, jaguars. I don't know how many of you has that crazy cat lady, but if you've ever went by her yard, cat pee stinks. On how many of you, your cat ever decided the back room was a good bathroom? Preach a lot about poop because there's been a lot of poop in my life. Biggest job you have as a minister, especially you traveling ministers, is you fly in and change a bunch of dirty diapers. These believers that their diaper is drugged back to that bottle. So much nastiness. Come on. I remember one time I had a neighbor that, and I'm just now, I've got a puppy that's won my heart. I had to get down on my knees and repent to a dog. And God revealed to me bad character I had for getting mad. It tore in the garbage one night and strode my garbage all across the house. My outside dog strode the outside garbage all across the porch, tore up Mom's flowers, ripped up cushions on the porch from the porch furniture. My pup strode garbage all through the house and pooped all in a bedroom. My dad knows I'm frustrated. He's trying to not aggravate me, and we've got these bedpans and stuff for him and chairs that he can get on, and he decides he's going to go number 2, not bother me. From the back of the hallway to the front, he missed the pan the whole way. He's had 65 stomach procedures.
Yeah.
When that old man goes, you go too. You prop the front door open, and that poopery stuff is the greatest stuff. It's silly, but it's the greatest stuff ever invented. It works. But I'm walking around there. I'm the man of faith that walks with God, that knocks off diabetes, that agrees with you you're going to live past 90. And now I'm mad because I got dog and dad poop in the floor and crumbs strode everywhere. I'm going to kill these dogs. Come on. I go get one of my Glocks. I know a lot of them. I don't even know which. I just got me a Glock. I put the bullet back in it. I'm going to kill these dogs. And God said to me, are you going to shoot your dad too? Come on.
Yeah.
God will take life and bad things to teach you what kind of character you have.
Yeah.
And I'm like, did you just say that to me? I talk to God different than you do. I'm getting ready to do something sinful. He's going to tell you mine is God. Lord, you know I'm going to do that. You better help me. You better fix me now. I'm going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I prayed that. And I've had them fix me now moments too.
Yeah. Yeah.
You going to kill your dad? And I'm like, Lord, no. I'm going to clean it up. He said, even dogs eat the crumbs from the master's table. He said, that dog is doing what I created it to do. He said, if you hadn't been so grouchy, your daddy would have let you help him to the bathroom. And if you took that dog out, it wouldn't have went in here. And if you hadn't left them crumbs in that garbage can, it wouldn't have eaten them. Dogs eat crumbs from your table. It's doing what I designed it to do.
That's a word, yeah.
You never seen a feller take the bullet back out of his box, put it back in the shelf, go get my poop rags. We're going to be here a while. Did you say poop in church? Yes, I did. The Bible's worse than I am. There's a king that killed every man that pissed on the wall.
Yeah.
That's in there.
Yeah.
It's in there. Killed them all. I'm cleaning up my mess. God says you need to repent to your daddy. I know what was coming. I've done it again, Dad. I'm sorry. Pray for me over my temper that I'll be a better man. And God said, now tell that dog you're sorry. You ain't never been in trouble with the Lord till He's making you repent to puppies. Noah was a crazy man in the sight of the world. talking about a God that's going to save him and his family from a flood, and it's going to kill everybody else because we're righteous.
Mm-hmm.
He want me to save two of all they seen the monkeys in his yard, the elephants. He's crazy. Now God shuts the door on that boat and they are in a storm. A lot of times the storm you are in probably can kill the whole world around you. But if you are where God wants you to be, did what God called you to do. See, it wasn't how many of you have ever smelled a wet dog? I take a lot of dogs fishing. My dog's wet fishing in the rain. If it jumps on your couch, you're going to have to go to the upholstery shop. That couch, I don't care how clean that dog is, a wet dog stinks.
Yeah.
40 days and 40 nights of
Yeah.
waves up and down.
Yeah.
There's people on the outside of that boat clawing at the wood, screaming and begging, open up and let us in. They're bumping into animals that are bellowing and dying. It is a terrible time outside of that boat, and it's not too fun in there.
No.
There's elephant poop. I don't know how many of you have ever been to the circus, but one of the things I hated about plowing was I did not realize how much manure a pony or a mule can create. Till you're the one standing behind them and that tail stands up and you got nowhere to go with all this stuff up to them. Yep, when that tail stands up, you just got to brace. Inside of that boat, there was every animal poop smell that there is on the planet confined in that sealed off boat. And the way I preach that is, it's going to stink sometimes where God has assigned you, but it's better to be in the stink, in the will of God, than they're on the outside of that boat clawing to get in.
Amen. That's right.
It may stink where you're at, but if He told you to be there, it may stink what you're doing right now, but if He told you to do it, it may stink the people we are around right now, but if He told us to do it, hold on, it's not going to rain forever, the storm's not going to last forever, and that flood is eventually going to dry up.
Amen.
Amen.
Does it stink where you're at? That don't mean it's time to leave. And today's modern, and even in this town, anybody that gets mad or uncomfortable, next Sunday they got 35, 40 choices of, it stinks there, I'm going to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Come on, preachers. Come on. It's uncomfortable there. You think that boat ride was fun? That horrendous smell and all these birds hollering and animals moaning and grunting and growling and you got to feed them and you got to water them. And they also butchered their own meat there. They didn't have no refrigeration unit like Walmart. They was animal guts.
Yeah.
Laying there, flopping on the floor 40 days and 40 nights. And you couldn't rest. You got to go feed them camels again. And got to go feed them stupid monkeys again. Have you seen how much grass and hay them elephants eat?
Yeah.
It stunk in there. It was uncomfortable in there. We're oftentimes looking for comfort and peace when we don't realize we are riding the very ship that we can show the whole world how to be saved.
Yes.
By riding out that stink
Amen.
and being uncomfortable. Come on. How are they ever going to know that God can raise you up from a diabetic coma? But then, the thing about my story is I had witnesses. Yeah. Everything I tell, there's 15 to 30, 40 people in my room, every story. They're not saved and they're watching. And when I got out, truck drivers at Walmart started asking, how's Todd? The healer. Scumbag, proud to be redneck men would tell them truck drivers, you know what he would say. He wouldn't say nothing but he's healed, and we are saying it with him, blanket.
Yeah.
I've had more than one driver tell me that. Them boys would cuss me and then tell me to speak faith. Why? They saw me in the stink. It smelled just as bad where I was at times as it did where they was at. Now, no. Did I have that kind of testimony the last 2 years there? No. I was absolutely outside of the boat drowning. I was the one scratching to try to get in. But for 17 years I went through those stock rooms and I had the sinners singing, well, 99.5 won't do. Oh, now you can hear the whole stock room. 99.5 it won't do. We gotta live right to reach 100. 99, and they go through the aisles, sinners. 99.5 it won't do. You gotta pray right to reach 100.
Amen.
Had them singing. Now if your body suffers pain and your health you can't regain, sinners, and you have to get along on meager fare, my Jesus knows the pain you feel. He will touch, He will heal.
Amen.
Take your burden to the Lord and leave it there. I had the roughest boys on earth slinging soup beans and singing 99.5 won't do.
Yeah.
Cutting open boxes and singing, take your burdens to the Lord and leave it there. They saw that. They're watching you. I always say this, they're not hoping that you fail at faith. No, the sinners, it's the church people that's going to rejoice if you fail. They're the ones going to laugh if you mess up. The sinners are secretly hoping that there is a God in Israel and that I've saw it work in His life.
Yeah.
They're hoping God's real.
Yeah. That's right.
There wasn't nobody outside of that boat doubting Noah 10 days into that mess. Well, everybody didn't die instantly. These people floated around right there a while. These animals, strong, swim a very long time. Does it stink where you're at? Learn to praise God in those situations. Because Enoch refused to die, but Noah, he's refusing to die and refusing to let his family die. Everybody stand. If you're out there in the Facebook land and your life stinks, come on, you heard me. There were elephant poop all its waist deep somewhere. They may have had a system that drained it, but somewhere or another inside of that sealed up boat, even if they had a system to flow it somewhere, there is a huge pile of every kind of poop you can imagine. And in your life and your church, there may be huge piles of stink. Every stinking thing that can go on may be going on. But I came to tell you that if you refuse to give up, cave in, and quit, you and your house can be saved.
Amen.
In Jesus' name.
Amen.